Singing has always been a huge part of my life, whether it's listening to my favorite songs on the radio and singing along with my friends, being a part of my Greek, English, and religious singing groups at my church, and even being in choir throughout middle school. It has always been something I look forward to do as a stress reliever, a way to get out all my emotions and relax. Singing is a microculture I belong to, and I'm excited to share this microculture that you may also belong to as well. So singing is a microculture that has been around for a very long time, yet it is not known when or where art music, as distinct from folk music, began. But there is evidence from various Mesopotamian cultures that thrive from 3500 to 500 BC that are already considered music art. And their writings mention both professional musicians, including singers, and religious music as well, including songs about liturgy. Grecian culture had highly developed art music that showed signs of both a folk music origin and some Egyptian influence. The poetry of Sappho, which was around 600 BC, and others were often sung in contests with melodies and rhythms based on the poetic meters. Singing was associated with all forms of literature and with dance. The ode, the dithyramb, and the drama all employed singers who moved to the rhythm of the music. By 500 BC, ventriloquism had been described, and both choruses and solo voices were being used in drama. Greek philosophers attached great value to music and to its cultural purposes. Singing was such an important part of early Christian worship that its ritual and music developed together and became almost inseparable. It borrowed music from other religions and from existing secular tunes, and slowly developed a form of liturgical chant. It was a style based on sinuous melodies of limited range, expressed in free, unmetered rhythms. These were sung as solos or in unison by unaccompanied male voices. The various scale formats in which they developed were eventually refined into a complex theoretical system of so-called church modes. Now, singing has evolved from a form of expressing religious beliefs to expressing any aspect of life, like when thinking of your favorite artists and songs today. Now, when being asked, what is singing? Singing is the act of producing musical sounds with your voice, augmenting regular speech by both tonality and rhythm. It requires a skilled set, practice, talent, motivation, and knowledge in order to be able to sing. Throughout this presentation, I will discuss the values, characteristics, and behaviors, including communication, that this microculture holds. How does singing and music affect us? Music is an expressive language of culture. It often tells a story, expresses emotion, or shares ideas with a society. Music is a huge component of cultural expression and cultural identity. Music serves many functions and needs. It provides various forms of communication, religious and spiritual worship, artistic expression, and community celebration. Cultures express themselves differently through the music that they listen to, sing along, and perform. Music serves as a tool for people to define themselves and their culture, and allows people to express themselves through performance or even through just listening. Music reflects the cultural characteristics of a society. For example, as a Greek Orthodox Christian, I understand that singing and music is an expression of my beliefs. It also offers a way to communicate with God. As the ultimate form of worship, the entire congregation is called to sing right along with the chanters and choir. In this way, music enables the service to come alive, which is why I sing. According to the experts, singing has the power to alter our moods and conjure up memories and feelings. I believe we sing because something inside us needs to express something beyond words or actions, in which everyone could do to some extent. Singing can help tame stress, but also lift spirits. Coming from my experience as a singer, one of the most important values of singing is practicing and consistency. While I was in choir, before we sang, we always did a lot of fun exercises like singing, funny tongue twisters, or our favorite rhymes. We also learned about how to say properly and how it affects our ability to sing. Before I had anywhere to sing to, I would practice all day long before singing to anyone that would listen to me. Community would be another value due to the message or expression you are sending when singing to an audience. Singing is not only for yourself, but for others to connect to and come together. For example, there is a Greek tradition during Christmas time where all the kids come together to sing the kalada, which is caroling, and it has roots in ancient Greece. Children would carry small boats, known as Caravaggia, or small ships, and sing songs honoring Dionysus. Greek Christmas carols date back to the Byzantine times, and after singing these songs to the household, the children would often be invited inside for a refreshment. We carry on this tradition to this day to express our love and devotion to our culture. The last value I believe singers have is dedication, since they need to put a lot of effort and time into singing, and they need to be devoted to their music. Not only do they need ability in communities, but they need a lot of hard work and dedication and willpower in order to be successful due to the criticism and or negative comments they may hear from their audiences. Singers can include anyone. There's no single race, religion, ethnicity, or anything for that matter. Singing could be considered a reflection of their inner passion, love, or desire. Singers are considered as artists, which means they are innovative and creative, and they thrive in environments that allow them to express themselves. They are also usually adventurous, which implies that they are natural leaders who excel at persuading and influencing people. Some skills and qualities of singers may include a vocal talent, self-confidence, a love of music, commitment and patience, determination and discipline, the ability to deal with criticism and rejection, and being creative are all characteristics that I believe singers should have. A lot of people wonder how singers communicate with each other and if there are any communication patterns within singers. Well, musicians and singers often use hand signs to show each other what part of the song is up next. These signs can vary greatly from band to band and singer to singer. Common ones include the closed fist, which means it's the end of the song, and the pat of the head, which is back to the top. And to avoid speaking out loud on stage, some musicians mouth the commands for the next section. This helps keep the audience from noticing what the singer is about to do. If you hear musicians calling out numbers to each other, they're not solving a math problem. Sometimes musicians use numbers to signal chords and tone qualities. But the most common one, and the one that I use, is eye contact. Eye contact is an essential part of a singer's performance. As a performer, you need to be able to connect to your audience and create audience engagement so they're on your side. It is important to have a certain presence on stage, which lets the audience know that you're confident in your singing abilities. When asked why musicians look at each other while playing, they're collaborating on what can be a challenging task, interpreting a musical work of art. And often, that look is a signal to ensure that they're starting on beat. For me personally, whenever we are unsure about a note or the verse, we look at each other and nod or make a quick and subtle hand movement to communicate with each other when something is wrong or if we're confused. Some other nonverbal means of expression or communication could include produced musical sounds, bodily movements, facial expressions, and a gaze. Now that we learned a little bit more about how singing is a microculture, I wanted to share some fun facts about singing in general. So the first one is the voice is a biological clock and likes to be warmed up at the same time every day, which I found very interesting. The second fact I found is that 4% of the world's population is tone deaf. Tone deafness is when a person can't distinguish between notes. Tone deafness usually occurs because of childhood fever, indifference to music, fear of embarrassment, or depression. The third fact that I found was that research has consistently shown that synchronization of music with repetitive exercise provides enhanced physical performance, helping people both work out for longer and train more efficiently. I find this to be true because whenever you go to a gym, you always see people with their headphones in or their AirPods in, and they're listening to music while they're working out. And I do the same. Whenever I'm dancing, I listen to music and sing along, and it helps me pass the time and relax while I'm working out. Another fact I read was that in 2011, a study was conducted that showed that music not only affects mood, but it has an even more significant effect on perception. Subjects who were tested were influenced by music they heard. Based on what they saw, participants were asked to listen to music and identify corresponding smiley faces. Smiley faces that matched the music were identified more accurately, and even when no smiley face was shown, the subjects thought they recognized a happy face when listening to happy music and a sad face when listening to sad music. Studies show that music helps plants grow faster. A study conducted by South Korean scientists from the National Institute of Agricultural Biotechnology found that plants grow faster when sung to or music is played around them. The study used 14 different classical pieces, including Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata in rice fields. Findings were that the music helped the crops grow at a faster pace and pointed to evidence that plants have genes which enable them to hear. Musical education leads to better test scores. Students who have experience with music performance or are taking music appreciation courses score higher on the SAT. One report indicated that they score on average 63 points higher on verbal and 44 points higher on math. Music students also tend to show higher self-confidence, are responsible risk takers, good team players, have increased coordination, are more creative and emotionally developed, and have a healthy sense of achievement. Well, again, singing is a microculture since it involves a multitude of diverse people who share similar experiences throughout singing, like warming up before performance, using similar ways of communicating, like hand movement or eye contact, having similar traits, like having a love for music, and values such as the ones we discussed, including ability, being able to sing, community, spreading your message across, and creating connections with others by expressing yourself, and dedication, putting a lot of time and effort into singing and music. I hope you found the microculture I belong to interesting, and I hope you learned something new today about singing, and I'm very excited to hear about the microcultures you all belong to. Thank you for listening.